Hi, I'm Erin from Slide UX, and I'm pleased to introduce Tabrez Syed today. Tabrez is an entrepreneur, a product builder, and an advisor, and he has a background in engineering. He advanced to the position of VP of Product at Austin's own Spiceworks before founding Swivel, a commercial real estate startup where we met him, and we're pleased to work with a stellar team of Austin entrepreneurs. Since his time at Swivel, he's co-founded two other startups, and he's one of those sharp people who is direct but also likable and relatable. One of the best types of product leaders to work with, and one whom we're really thrilled to have with us today. So, Tabrez, first of all, thank you for being here. Can you tell us about a time when a user insight changed your assumptions?
We like to think of ourselves as rational actors and that we live in a rational world, but I'm often struck by how our users don't live in rational worlds. They work in bureaucracies, they have all sorts of regulations and rules that they have to follow. So an example of one time that my insight from a user interview reminded me that I was acting too rationally was we were working in commercial real estate, and we had this idea for how property owners and property managers would benefit from having extra sources of income for this particular space. But what we quickly realized as we did the research is that most of these landlords have preferential tax treatment through a structure called a REIT. So by definition of that legal structure, they can't accept income that's not tied to rent. So even if it rationally made sense that they could potentially make more money, they can't because of the tax preference that they get. And this kind of stuff keeps coming up because it's easy as product managers to go, hey, it's rational, it would happen. But there are all sorts of organizational structures and political structures that don't make it rational. And so it's always important not just look at what logically makes sense from a product workflow, but also apply it back to what does it look like in the real world, which sometimes or often is not as rational.
Have you found yourself needing to go back and revisit past decisions based on new things that you've learned along the way?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. I'm a fan of the Mike Tyson saying, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So I believe in having strong convictions, but loosely held. So it allows you to get started and adapt as you learn. And that's just the best way to do it.
If you could give advice to your younger self, what advice would you give that person?
If you ask the right question, then the answer almost kind of just falls into place. I think my younger self was so eager to find the answer that I didn't figure out if I was asking the right question. I think as with age, I spend a lot more time asking if I'm asking the right question, and then the answer almost kind of comes out of that.
What words of wisdom would you like to share with others in your field?
I think that most of the valuable lessons are already out there, and that we all know it, just very hard to practice. So an example of that, the famous story of look, nobody really wants a hole in the wall. All they want is a painting that they want to hang up, right? But as product managers and people working, we love what we do. So we get obsessed about our work and we spend our time on the size, dimension, and depth of the hole in the wall and lose track of why the hole's there in the first place.
Do you have any closing words on how Slide UX might have contributed to your success?
What I remember the most about my experience with Slide UX was how persistently and consistently you focused on why we were trying to solve the problem. It's easy to lose track of the why, and I think having partners who help remind you keeps you on target towards a successful outcome.
For more from Slide UX, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share.